Up to you.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Stefan Volmari. I run the networking and security team in Germany and Alps.
Hello, Stefan is my boss, so I must be careful today. So my name is Joerg Roesch. I'm solution engineer for network and security, responsible for the public and government market. And today we want to present our NSX Security Whiteboard. Why we have created an NSX Security Whiteboard? We want to show our customer how easy is it with NSX to implement or to approach a zero trust approach, and how easy is it with micro-segmentation, virtual batching, IDS, IPS, intrusion prevention, detection system, and network detection response, which you can cover advanced threat attacks. For example, what could this be? I hear one example for a ransomware attack named Jigsaw. I think maybe someone detects this mask Jigsaw. It's from the horror movie series Saw. And this kind of ransomware is a little bit tricky, and it's not easy to say some sandbox can detect this, because it's changing its behavior very often, and it's checking the CPU, memory, credentials, and for example also the VMware tools. So we have some solutions which we cover later for this kind of ransomware. And you see here, it's a usual ransomware. You get here this picture, I want to play a game with you, and then it's going, I encrypt every 24 hours files, and so it's not easy to find out. Let me switch. So here, some statistics. You see here, 4,000 attacks every day. Okay, it could be another amount also, but I think everyone is aware that we have a lot of attacks at the moment. What is here very interesting from my point of view, here the 60% of attacks are based on a vulnerability which is also already available. This is that you cannot make in time the batching, and with our virtual batching we have some good solutions to fix this. Now we come really to our whiteboard.
Yeah, thanks Jörg for setting the stage. So hopefully we got your attention. I think we currently see a lot of effort which is put into cybercrime, into attacks, and obviously we are at VMware to protect your data center, your infrastructure, and therefore we put a lot of effort also in our products to do this, to protect your infrastructure from the risk being attacked. And as Jörg already laid out, those attacks are more comprehensive today. So we see not only a high quantity of numbers of attacks, but also the techniques are more sophisticated than the years before. And that's exactly the reason why we put a lot of effort into our products to protect those infrastructures. Speaking about the infrastructure and getting into the whiteboard we created to provide you with the solution approach we have, we just wrapped up how does the infrastructure look like today. And obviously every infrastructure at every client we talk to is different. But what is the common ground for such an infrastructure? And this is highlighted in the slide here, which is a couple of servers that are virtualized, running virtual machines on top of those servers. Maybe you as a customer do have already or still a couple of bare metal servers in your infrastructure. Obviously you have also multiple data centers, whether they are set up on-prem or in the cloud. Nowadays we talk to customers that have multiple cloud providers to have their applications, their workloads set up in the cloud, in different clouds, or the entire infrastructure which is set up in the cloud. Obviously you have also a couple of things like Kubernetes or Tanzu for modern application environments. And let's face the challenges, and I think Jörg highlighted it in the beginning, the upcoming amount and the techniques of threats, because today attackers are highly sophisticated, using tools to get into your infrastructure, to get into your data center, to install malicious software, to install malware, to encrypt data, and then force you to pay a ransom to get your data encrypted again. So one of those threats at the moment is really the upcoming cyber threats. The reason, and this is obvious to you, you have put a lot of effort and a lot of invest into your infrastructure protection is with firewalls at the perimeter. So we are not here to reduce those or get rid of those firewalls at the perimeter, but we want to show you a possibility how you can really set up your internal infrastructure, protect the infrastructure inside the data center.
But we have the possibility as well to build with NSX also a gateway firewall, especially when you have some requirements for your security with TLS inspection or URL filtering, IDS, IPS on the perimeter firewall, then we can do it as well. But as Stefan already mentioned, our core use case is here to save the east-west security very easy. But you can have also other requirements for two-vendor strategy, or when you build up small data centers or small edge sites with 2 or 3 E6E hosts, then it's also a good possibility to use our gateway NSX firewall in software, because you can save also money and it's not much expensive.
Using more than one vendor, using more than one tool, using more than one solution for protecting your infrastructure makes the whole environment very complex. Everybody knows that IT stuff is limited. We don't have that resources to manage all the infrastructure. And on the other hand, we need to take care of our users, because nowadays our users, they are not sitting in one branch, they are outside, they are working from remote, they are on the street, they're working in home offices, and we need to ensure that those users connecting themselves to your backend servers, whether they are on-prem or in the cloud, that they have obviously high performance, secure access to those services and applications. Therefore, of course, we have remote access solutions in place. That means that we already have solutions to grant user and protect the infrastructure by setting up different rules so that we can have users connect to services or just block incoming requests. One thing what I like to mention as well is that we, and I did it in the beginning, not only take care of the firewall, of the perimeter, but also we want to protect our data center infrastructure. The reason for that is that we see a lot of traffic inside the data center. Why is it the case? The case is because you have introduced cloud services, and by the introduction of the cloud services, those services communicate with app servers, with web servers, so a lot of that east-west traffic is taking place inside the data center. And that's exactly why we need to pay attention to this in-house east-west traffic, and one common tool to do so is really the introduction of a zone-based model. So you create zones inside your data center. An example can be that you have a development, a test zone, and of course a production zone, and you want to avoid that if an attacker gets into the data center, that he jumps from one host to other host, and then install ransomware and malicious software on different hosts. So this we want to avoid, and therefore we have created different zones. Of course, setting up the right zone for communication inside the host is very complex. As I mentioned before, resources are limited, and also when it comes to those connectivities from your data center to the cloud, you need a more sophisticated concept instead of changing policies, zones, and this can't be done with a proprietary firewall. So therefore, and this is the introduction of our solution, we really bring the firewall next to the host. We install a distributed NSX firewall on top of the virtualized infrastructure, on top of the hypervisor.
Yeah, right. So what we are doing at the end of the day, we are putting a firewall directly for the virtual machine. To say it a little bit more in detail, for the VNIC, and so it doesn't matter then if a virtual machine is in the same network or it's in a different network, and we don't have to change anything from the routing and switching part. So that's a catch here, and it's also very easy then to implement NSX firewalling in brownfield environments, in existing environments, and you don't have to change anything. Second point is intrusion detection prevention. At the beginning, I have mentioned there the problem currently that a lot of customers cannot patch their systems in time. And with virtual patching, with IDS IPS, we have the possibility to directly put on the signatures on the virtual machine. And when we are ready with the patching, we can remove the signatures and we can go further, and the system is completely secure. The other point is here, we have the network detection response. That is something which I also mentioned at the beginning with the ransomware jigsaw, which is very difficult to detect. And with network detection response, we have an emulation in hard and software. So we see when there's something on the CPU or on the memory happen, and we can detect this very easy. And this all is doing with A6E flow monitoring, and so we completely analyze the complete flow, and we can create the events, and we show very easy when there's a problem. So then the other point is a simplification. It's very easy. We have a policy recommendation. It's named Intelligence, NSX Intelligence. So what we can do, we can directly check if there are firewall recommendations, we get it automated. So we get automated firewall recommendations in our management plane from NSX, and we can directly push it to the hypervisor engines and make our systems also secure. Other points is we have a lot of templates, we have the automation stuff. When you deploy NSX, you have an automation. When you have day 2 operations. So in every case, we are looking for the automation stuff, and we have also customers who are doing a one-click deployment, because behind this, they're all API calls, and we have customers who are doing complete policies from an automated way. Other point is, one moment, we have a single management plane. Usually, when you have different, in the physical network, you have appliances for IDS, IPS, and all this kind of stuff. And with NSX, you have it all in one management plane, and you don't need to learn something about new management planes. So you have the same behavior, and so it's very easy for an operational staff. Last point is here the flexibility. When we move machines with vMotion to the cloud or maybe inside the data center, your firewall policies go directly with the machine. So you don't have to change anything. So we are very flexible with the workload migration. But in common, the key takeaways here, we need no agent for the ECXI host with distributed firewall in IDS IPS. And we need nothing to change, again, on the routing and switching infrastructure, and we can implement it very easy. Meanwhile, we have also a solution from a plugin in the vCenter, so you can directly install NSX from a plugin from the vCenter, and you can directly go in a policy security group configuration and all this kind of stuff. The other point is that we are able, with multi-cloud, with containers, we can also secure containers. With containers, we have a little bit another approach, because you have not a VNIC, which you can save. So you must work a lot with tags. We tag different objects to separate namespaces and to separate pods, and you need also load balancing, all this kind of stuff, which is mandatory for the Tanzu and Kubernetes world. Here you see a small example how we do this from the management plane when we want to get recommendation firewall rules. You see here in the visibility, you see a picture from the connections. In red, you see what is unprotected. And afterwards, when you do a recommendation here, we have here engine, recommendation engine, and then it's come out, you can directly push your firewall rules, you can modify it before, and then you're ready and safe. So it's a really easy way with NSX to make your environment secure. Yeah, so thanks very much.
Thank you.
For your time, and I wish you a very nice Explore event. Thanks.
Have a great day. Thank you.